Good morning, football fans. Are you ready for some football? Kind of a rivalry week. We got ourselves Bears versus Packers. We got Cowboys, we got Eagles, we got 47ers, 49ers, whatever they're called. We got cats living with dogs. It's utter chaos. And then of course we have these fellows here. You got Mike, you got the Packerbacker Brian, you got Pouty Stouty. He loves that name. And uh, unfortunately, Jerry won't be able to be here today. He's a little under the weather. So, fellas, are we ready for the Bears to beat the Packers?
I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, are you ready for the Bears to beat the Packers?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I'm ready for a tie. I think that'd be good.
Nothing wrong with the tie. It's, whatever.
That would be kind of interesting.
But here, you know what? Before we get into football, I know Mike wanted to cover something, so I'm going to give him the floor a little bit here.
Yeah, Team Soapbox. Team Soapbox. I know we always talk about football in here, and I've kind of hit a couple subjects on here with my job. So I'm going to take just maybe less than a minute to discuss this. I want to tell everybody out there, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on the show with my time that I have because of my work for the railroad. This is not political. This ain't nothing. This is us being forced to work under a contract that's not fair for us and the government stepping in. So for everybody out there, everything kind of starts with the railroad, with the way we work and stuff. It trickles down to the rest of the economy of workers, unions, everything else. And they just show that they will keep you working regardless of working conditions and everything else. And it's not good, people. It's not. It's time to start waking up and start realizing what's happening to all of us here and go on from there. It's not good. But I wanted to bring it up a little bit and get some of the down and out stuff down, and now talk about football other than the shit ass Cowboys. Enjoy that and be pouty stouty because of my Cowboys. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. So my time on here, I don't know. It's going to be a lot more hit and miss than it usually is right now. So
right on. Well, and I'm sorry it didn't work to your advantage or how you wanted it to, but glad you're here today. So,
yeah,
rivalry week again in the NFL,
except
for the Cowboys and the Colts, which isn't going to be even anything worth talking about. But we got a oldest rivalry in sports, Bears Pack, coming up this week. They play at what, noon today? 1 o'clock Eastern.
Around that time.
Being in a different time zone, that hour really kind of throws you off a little bit. So
are we actually saying that's a game though? I mean,
well, does anybody want to win that game? That's the question. I mean, let's be honest. Is it advantageous for either team to win this game?
It could be one of those things where, Aaron Rodgers, he threw for 612 yards, but no interceptions. In fact, he tackled two running backs that were about to go into the end zone. To probably solidify, their potential draft pick. And the same thing with the Bears. I mean, you're not going to necessarily, tank the game in order to be able to get a better draft spot. But, maybe your personnel might be a little bit different. So, for example, I might be the starting wide receiver, which is it'd be one of those things. So if you're looking at it long term, but here's the problem. It's that bloody Packer-Bear rivalry. A-Rod has been kind of a thorn in our side for quite some time, and so, with an opportunity to actually, beat them up a little bit and, win the ball game, I think that would still be a thing that the Bears would want to be able to do. And again, Eberflus, especially with Eberflus being, with his ties with Green Bay and, the way that the first game worked out and things like that. So I think the Bears, in fact, would probably want to win more than lose. However, You understand the backstory to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to be outdone, I mean, the Bucs Saints got a rivalry game this week on Monday Night Football. And that actually is a must win for both teams, right? I mean, does anybody actually want to play in the South this year? I mean, can't we just act like that division doesn't exist for a year and just move on and let the 4 best teams represent whatever?
Just rename it the NFC East.
Let's just rename it the XFL for now. I mean,
I've been treating it as a non-existent league division anyway. So
they actually put that game on Monday Night Football.
It's Monday Night Football, yes, sir.
Oh Lord, the views will be down that night.
Nah, not with Tommy being out there. Everyone wants to watch Brady play.
Well, they want to see if he's keep his undefeated streak after his divorce going. That's all it is right now. So,
good morning, Christopher Cole. Thanks for joining us today. I know you're here as a Bucs fan, but anytime you want to chime in on any other topics we got going on, feel free. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing going on in the South. The Panthers have the best conference record at 3-1. The Bucs have the best overall record at 5-6. I feel like it should be the XFL as in XEXFL as in former football league because it's awful. But anyway.
Is that something you stayed up all night thinking of?
No, I got to bed around 3.
So there are certain teams within the league that, granted are more iconic. Take, for example, like the Bears, the Packers, even the Browns. Then you have the teams that could conceivably, just call it a franchise and, go about their day, like the Bucs, the Cowboys. I expected that about 10 seconds ago.
I had to bring it up. But anyway, let's start show right and go north and get into that debacle you guys call a conference.
Let's head north with Eye Candy Indy and the Packerbacker.
What you guys got?
Well,
stuff
and things. So the Bears have been, I guess you can say, active. So they signed quarterback Nathan Peterman, which, of course, as you all know, it's just an absolute juggernaut of a quarterback. So you might be thinking to yourself, Nathan, who? Never heard of him. Well, there's a reason for that. Well, no, he's played before. So anyway, yeah, they also elevated defensive back Adrian. I don't know if he wants to pronounce it Colbert like that. In that case on TV or Colbert, Harrison, and the active roster. Now, what kind of makes that interesting is the fact that you were setting yourself up to potentially have Justin Fields, be able to sit out another week. Plus, with the bye week coming up, again, you can rest him for a full month. However, this is that whole rivalry week which is a problem. So you also have, as far as the actual injury report, you got Larry Borum, who's out with an ankle/knee. Brisker is actually going to be kind of hurt safety. He's actually out with a concussion. And you have a couple. Kyler Gordon is also out, as well as Trevor Siemian, who's out with an oblique because he was
himself warming up.
we were trying to skirt around that one, but yeah, so he's definitely out. That's why they needed, of course, Nathan Peterman. So pretty much going to be Justin Fields, and then also basically Peterman, or even the other
David Montgomery. David Montgomery still listed as your emergency quarterback, yeah?
Probably.
So let's play this scenario. Fields gets hurt because the Bears are trying to make him a pocket passer, which is something he's not. And Peterman gets hurt because he's Peterman. You're not David Montgomery at quarterback. Who the hell is your running back?
Well, that would probably end up being I don't know. Section 3.
Sandburn?
Section 3C, row G, seat number 12.
Right. It'd be like, If you have any high school football experience, please step down to the stadium. The Bears have a uniform for you.
I don't know. There's a fellow that's actually from Chicago. I think he ended up scoring like 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game versus Polk High. But
I'm out, Bundy.
you know what? That actually did not sound like Monady at all. Kind of
It was uncanny.
okay. Well, maybe if you close your eyes and ears, absolutely. But again, if you're looking at like the Packers injury report, not to step on any toes on that particular one, but I think the only one you really have is Bakhtiari, who's actually technically out again, with his nagging knee injury. So, you really do kind of have a chance for the Bears to actually pull this one out. Quarterback wise, with the injury to Aaron, Justin Fields could potentially have a fairly good day. As we were talking on Tuesday's show, with the defensive line that the Packers have, the Bears, if they can establish their run game, which would be interesting because Borum is actually out. And even though his pass protection is, on the plus side of mediocre, you still have that opportunity to be able to actually get a running game, which would, of course, time management, things like that. Bears could end up pulling that one out in probably a real bar burner, something like 12-9, that kind of deal.
It's cold today.
It's almost 80 where I'm at. So
what do you got on that rivalry? I mean, we got the injury report, but honestly, I don't see how it benefits either organization to even play your starters today.
So, yes, we have no bananas. Essentially, basically what that means is, you have a team who's unfortunately has not had the wins. Now, their offenses look good, obviously, for the last month and a half, 2 months. Defense, unfortunately, has not. But then you also have that rivalry game. That's the problem. Because of the fact that the Packers have been such that thorn that even though you might not necessarily need the win, want the win, you could conceivably get that win. And so it would be more like a pride thing. It's one of those things. It's like even though Giselle and Tom are divorced, he's still upset about the fact that she's seeing her jiu-jitsu instructor, that kind of thing.
The total. So see the connection.
Absolutely. It's almost like when you're in Dallas. It's like, okay, sheep or cow. I don't know. It's just simply one of those things. But
they took a hard left. So
with a positive number 2.
Is this the last game we see Aaron Rodgers and the Bears-Packers rivalry?
I don't know. You would think the way things are going, yes, but there's $50 million next year that you gotta account for. You can't just get rid of him. He could retire,
right?
I don't know. I mean, he's not really been very vocal about it. He's been hinting things of like post-football career, but it isn't really like something where he's saying this is like my last ride, or something like that. So I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't think he knows.
Yeah.
The only
thing I know is that while this is technically a must-win for the mathematical aspect of the playoffs, in my opinion, if they go out and play and they lose, this is the last time you'll see Aaron Rodgers on the field this year.
Yeah.
So just real quick, let me ask you a question. So, I mean, do you see Aaron Rodgers potentially, if he were to continue playing, to go to a different team? I know we always joke about the Indianapolis being like the place where quarterbacks die, but would something like that be a better opportunity, or is he still trying to get to California, where he's basically from?
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I don't know. I mean, I think he would love to go that direction, but just thinking about it, I mean, there would be a few teams that would want his services. It's just going to cost a pretty penny to get him. That's the only problem.
The 47ers can enter a contract negotiation with the Packers for a trade, and they could take half that salary if the Packers take half that salary. the 47ers move away from Jimmy G, and you got Aaron Rodgers as your starter in San Fran.
Yeah,
I mean, would he want to play Seattle, for example?
Oh God, why?
Or,
Why?
or,
I mean, why would they move from Geno?
is he going to go to Seattle though?
That's what he's saying. He's
No.
Geno's cheap.
I mean,
well,
he might go to Minnesota. Do what the last quarterback the Packers did. Just go to Minnesota.
Don't you have to go to the Jets first?
Yeah, you got to go to the Jets, and then you got to go to Minnesota.
You got to go to the Jets and send some lewd pics and.
But
I mean, think about it. What kind of a contract does Geno Smith have? Is it a 1 year, 2 year? Because he's going to want more money eventually, and then.
Yeah, but he's not going to hit Aaron Rodgers' money.
Certainly not. But
No.
he might say he still wants whatever going rate is for a quarterback these days, which is minimum probably in the 20 million range. But then once he actually doesn't get it, and he actually takes off to a different Green Bay, for example, then they're going to find out the fact that he may be not necessarily as good as this, and then maybe Green Bay quarterback goes to Seattle.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, didn't we just have this quarterback carousel like a year or two ago?
So seriously though, who you guys got winning? Give me your ideal picks for this game. Brian first, I guess.
I'm always gonna go for my team in this rivalry, but it scares the living daylights out of me with Justin Fields playing now. I'm still going to go 24-20 Packers.
See, I still don't get the message about the whole day drinking thing, honestly. Why am I being left out of this loop? But, good point. Got to stay with the hometown team, go with the Bears, and I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that. It very well may. It may be 60-50. I think it's going to be like a 12-9 game, one of those things where battle of the kickers, really. So
I mean, I could see that, but if it goes to the battle of the kickers, the Bears can't really feel good about that.
They will get 9 out of 10. It'll be that 10th is what's gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, but the kickers are afraid to hit all their kicks because the Bears will cut them. So there's that. So what else you guys got?
All I'm going to say is this. If the Bears run wild on the Packers, it's going to be a long day, and it might end up turning into one of those games where the Packers get embarrassed. Again.
Besides every Sunday putting on those hideous green and yellow uniform, whatever those things are, covers, packaging. Damn. Cheese wheel. I think that's going to be anyway. I'm going to start calling people blinking cheese wheel or something.
What other games you got in the North?
We have the Vikings. We have the Vikings who are playing against, I don't know, some team or something like that. They actually are health-wise okay-ish. So you have two guys that are actually going to be out. You have, of course, your tight end, Bell Ellison. Of course, he's out, and as well as Christian Darlsaw, offensive tackle, concussion. I guess they are the juggernaut of the North, and so they very well may end up actually winning today. And as a matter of fact, I actually picked them, so
yeah, they're going to win, especially with the Jets not deciding on quarterbacks and
Mike White looked good last week.
I know, but you're not picking a quarterback, dude. At some point, you got to put your foot down. That's who's starting. Go. This never works out. It never does.
But, I mean, the Jets are actually relatively healthy. You only have one player that's technically out. That's Davis. So, I don't know. You still have the absolute juggernaut of Kirk Cousins. He's going to be throwing for hundreds and hundreds of yards. No, not really.
Did Dalvin Cook practice this week? Or is he listed as questionable or anything?
From what I remember hearing, Dalvin Cook did in fact practice, or at least he was doing some brief walkthroughs last time I remember reading. But other than that, I think he's pretty much good to go. I don't even think he's on the list.
Awesome. Yeah, if Minnesota can get the running game tied into their play action pass, they should be able to beat the Jets. they got too many weapons offensively for the Jets to take any one away. You're going to see a great matchup with Sauce Gardner on Justin Jefferson. Do you shadow Jefferson with him, leaving Thielen and other weapons open, or do you just play aside? I mean,
well, see, that's the other thing too. With defensively speaking, I think the Vikings probably have the Jets a little bit on the defensive side as well. Not a whole lot, but really, what's going to obviously win the game is your offense. And in this particular case, I would think that the Vikings' offense is going to be a little bit better, more well-oiled than, of course, the Jets with questionable quarterback. Is it going to be A? Is it going to be B? Nobody really likes A right now, so maybe B is going to be your answer. So
I'm gonna completely disagree with some of your guys' takes on this game. I mean, you're talking about a Jets defense who's allowing one of the fewest points per game allowed. They're top rated by Pro Football Focus in terms of defense. Sauce Gardner leads the NFL in completion percentage allowed and pass breakups. And You're talking about a team that just put up 409 yards of total offense on New England, or that are playing a defense that New England put up 409 yards on in Minnesota. I'm sorry, Jets 24, Vikings 21.
Quit looking at the sports page there.
No.
I do my research.
But you also have to take into consideration the Jets and the division they play in. So you can have a
They're
better
number 2 in the league.
What?
Their division's number 2 in the league, dude.
Yeah.
Look at the divisions. Kirk Cousins is actually the guy who's actually leading the way in the North. Really?
Yeah, but you're playing the AFC East is number 2 division in the league, right behind the NFC East.
It
is what it is.
Vikings, if there's a fall game for the Vikings, it's this one right here.
Very well could be. You see the Vikings pulling that one out then?
I do. I picked them to win just because of the fact of I think Jeffries, regardless of who's guarding him, he's going to get yardage as a receiver.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Sauce Gardner can shut Jeffries down, but you've still got too many other weapons on that offense.
They're going to go to somebody else. I think Jeffries still gets, he's not going to probably hit 100 yards, but he's going to get his targets. He's going to get a couple catches, and it's going to turn into the tight end and the aging Adam Thielen that they go. But from the games I've seen, the Jets' run defense, I mean, it's hit and miss sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, if the Vikings can get the ground game going and play that play action pass offense off that, they're a tough team to beat. But if you get the Kirk Cousins that goes out there and Kirk Cousins to join up, I mean, they beat themselves. So it all really depends on your quarterback play and whether they can get off the bus running the ball. If they can get off the bus running the ball, set up the tempo for that game, I think you take it out of New York's defensive hands and forces their offense to have to put up points. But Brian's got 24-21.
I see it probably right around there. Maybe within a couple 2-3 points. But it would be, in my opinion, I think the Vikings would end up pulling that one out. But we'll definitely see how it goes. But the way my record goes. Whew.
Yeah, well, and I also noticed too, somebody doesn't get his pick six ins before the show starts, so I can't copy it, so I can catch up, and change one game. He waits now. He used to be the first one, but now that he's the leader, he waits. So
he's working.
Hey,
real quick, I know we don't discuss the Lions, and let's just so we can get out of the North here. But the Lions and Jags are playing, and I think that Jameson Williams is playing his first game.
Yep.
Today. Yes, sir.
Yep.
And that's going to be interesting for the Lions because if all of a sudden he turns out to be something, they've actually got something going in Detroit.
Which is also one of those things with that if you step back and look at it, you're like, okay, Bears-Packers have been that major rivalry, but it's going to get to a point where it'd be like, okay, the Bears are kind of on the rise with their offense, but then you have Detroit. 20 years of first-round picks and things like that, they're starting to actually put something together, seriously put something together. They have a couple of their offensive linemen that are out too, so that might be a little bit of a mix. But they're playing the Jaguars, who are, although been playing better, still, it's the Jaguars. But,
Where is that game being played today?
I believe
Detroit.
it's in Detroit.
Yeah.
Indoors.
This is where, when you're as a Detroit fan, wish you had an outdoor stadium. I mean, that stadium is awesome. But can you imagine having an outdoor game in Detroit right now? It's 19 degrees below in Chicago, or 19 degrees right here in Chicago, which is a little south of Detroit. So it's got to be like 14, 13 degrees, taking a team from Jacksonville up into the cold air. It's different, especially when that's that wet, cold air off the lake. So,
Well, yeah, it's according to this, says it's going to be 37 and sunny at kickoff.
really, it's 19 degrees out right now. Good Lord. I went outside to let the dog out, and I, opened the door and shut it as quick as I could. But
That does in fact answer that age-long question. Who in fact let the dogs out? So we're done with the North, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that terrible joke that you tried to land, that did
That's
not
right.
it hit the ground and kept bouncing way far away.
So what you're saying is we're going to go east and talk about the terrible.
Let's
joke?
head east.
Hey Stout, is the sky still falling in Dallas?
They're gonna kick you out of Cowboys fan club.
Eh,
oh, that's so funny.
You could at least warn me about that one, but that's good. And yes, it is.
We made it. I made it last week. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be on. I gotta get this done. And then he got here.
Yeah,
But-
well, that goes back to the opening of the show. All right, best division in football, gentlemen. So
got
we'll
one
get it.
really good. You got one really good game here.
So, I mean, you got the I know you told me I can't say it, but we got the Commanders versus the Giants. It's
I was hoping for it.
Which the Commanders have beaten the Giants. They're 3 times in a row now. They're going to go for 4. If they do end up pulling this off, it puts them for a tie. I mean, it puts Commanders above because of division, but for overall record, they get tied, which will be interesting. And the Giants.
Have you seen the? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it just seems like everybody keeps on talking about. It looks like the Giants on a downward slide or whatever. I just think they're. I think they're playing good teams, and but I'm just like I told you guys in the beginning. See, I'm more impressed with how well everybody's playing. Besides the Cowboys, the rest of the division's playing really good.
Have you seen the Giants injury report?
It's a long list.
Holy gods!
I try to pull it up, and it just keeps going on the tablet. It just keeps going. See, that's how you land a joke, Andy. That's how you land a joke.
No, we're listening.
And it just sticks, and see how everybody's laughing still? They're just nothing. That's how you do it right there.
There's a reason why I'm called eye candy because obviously I'm much better looking than you. People are looking at you and laughing just at that.
So the Giants have.
I don't care. I'm Chris Farley. I get laughs anyway I can get them. Whatever.
The Giants have 3 players out. I can't even get it over with. I'm gonna get up. Anyway,
off the rails.
So seriously, we'll see the debut of Chase Young today. 2022 debut of Chase Young. Can't even talk. Gibson was limited for Washington Thursday and Friday at practice. So if he doesn't play, I think you're going to see a lot of Brian Big Hat Robinson for the Commodores this week.
He's
Are you okay? You're a little pale.
Yeah.
He's the.
What was his name?
I think you're going to see a lot of Robinson. I mean, I think Gibson's on his way out. I mean, from the way that kid's running the ball and he catch out of the backfield really well. I think he's going to be their starter next year. I know they still have Gibson under contract. I think for a couple more years. But yeah, man, I don't. And then switching quarterbacks. I mean, because the quarterback got hurt, and that just whole I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? And then he shows his flashes of being really good. And then you're like, you want to get your hopes, you kind of get your hopes up with him. And then I think he just brings you down real nice and slow. So, but yeah, I think with the Giants injury report, I think the Commanders ended up pulling this out and stopped that Giants. They added to the 4-game win streak of beating the Giants. So it's in the
Meadow Lands.
It's in New Jersey. It's not in New York. Their stadium is in a different state. But yeah, I think the Commanders pull this out, and then you'll pretty much they'll have a like half game lead over the Giants. So, and then you move on. I guess move on from there. And then you got the Eagles playing the Titans, which what Titans team's going to show up is the question. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, this game's going to depend on what Titans team shows up. I think if the Titan team shows up like they've shown the flashes they can be, it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, offensively, the Titans are healthy.
Yeah.
So you got the ground attack of the Titans coming in the Philly. Philly is only without Gardner Johnson with the kidney laceration and their defensive end Robert Quinn. So,
yeah,
I mean, they're two healthy teams going at it this late in the year is something good to see.
Yeah, and I mean the Eagles, I know, boasted up. They kept picking up older defensive linemen and rotating them in really well. You kind of seen it when the first week when they got them before the Cowboys game, and you kind of saw flashes in there. But it looks like the Eagles are throwing everything they can, what they can right now, to make the run to the Super Bowl this year, and
seems to be working.
It does, but they're also going against Derrick Henry, and I know the defensive lineman they picked up. I know Steve's one of them, but I mean, how good is he at this point? He was off for how long, and so I picked the Eagles to win this game, but I hope they lose because it's the Eagles.
I mean,
I don't see it, but
much like Minnesota, if the Titans can come off the bus running, they can control the game.
Yeah.
If it's 20-17, I think you got a Titans win. If it's not a close game, I don't think the Titans are in it.
No, and I think most of it for the Eagles to win is going to come on the back of Jalen Hurts and how well he throws the ball. And I know it's in Philly, so it's tough going in there and playing games. So if he could throw the ball well and his receivers are open, I think the Eagles will pull away from this game because the Titans secondary is kind of I got Andy again, didn't I? Didn't even try. Oh God.
What I'm thinking is very, very appropriate. Something that you said in different contexts is all. That's all.
Oh, I know. I got
totally need that unfiltered show.
You're looking like you had Tourette's down there, Andy.
Yeah. So
anyway,
but so I think the Eagles pull this out against the Titans. It'll be a good game, and then
Colts Cowgirls.
Colts by 20.
Probably.
I mean,
I'm down here, and it's a busy weekend down here. But I know the games. I know all the Colt fans were excited with the whole. It was a mixture of what the hell the Colts doing to, hiring Saturday, Jeff Sunday that you like to say, Mike.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, I think he's got. I think with the Colts down here, they're selling. I mean, they have the highest percentage of fans showing up to their games. I think in the NFL. I think I read somewhere. I forgot to save it, but I think Dallas ends up winning this game by a field goal late. They'll win by 3.
It's going to be close.
And because they suck. And
Where's the justification? Where is the justification for this game being close?
Because the Cowboys suck.
You know what it is? I think ever since you started saying the Cowboys suck, they've went on a run, and you're like, oh my God, it's working.
And you finally figured it out. You're the only one that's figured it out. I have everybody asking me that question. Everybody's asking me that question, and you're the third person that figured it out. And that's why I say they suck. Because ever since I started it, they've been kicking everybody's ass. And so I'm going to keep saying it. They suck.
Wow. Dude, they lost. Who'd they lose to this year?
Wow.
Eagles. They lost to the Eagles. That's the only one I really cared about was them losing to the Eagles, to be honest with you.
Eagles is who else?
They got 2 more losses. But seriously, they suck. And I'm going to keep saying it. But, we got a lot of questionables this week for Dallas. We got Trayvon Diggs, and he's questionable with that foot. D-Laws, he's been questionable for the past couple weeks, but he keeps playing. Javon Kearse's questionable. I know Anthony Barr's questionable.
Barr's out.
Is he out again?
It just came down that Bar is out. Okay. And then you got Gallup and Diggs both with an illness. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's mono. Ain't that the kissing disease? I don't know. Just a thought.
Gallup's a wide receiver. Maybe Michael Irvin showed him some stuff. I don't know. But I do. I think. And then you got the Colts. Moore's out again for them. They're beat up in the defensive side this year, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. And then the aging Matt Ryan that's there. That Saturday went with.
You have to. You're paying him. You're losing anyway. You might as well play him.
So, but in my heart, Dallas wins by 2 touchdowns, but they suck. So I'm going to keep saying it because they're on a roll. But the sky has fallen in Dallas. It will be until they win a playoff game and show me they're actually worth giving my full attention.
Right on. So
is Matty Ryan done after this year?
Oh yeah.
I think he's done. Yeah, I think he's done. And then
honestly, I think he was done before this year.
Well, because I know Green Bay's going to need a quarterback.
Yeah. But I want to say this about the NFC East though. This is getting real interesting, even with the AFC East. And I know we talked about the NFC, but this is the first time 4 teams from a division.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. 4 teams could possibly make the playoffs from the East.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't have the stupid rule where each conference or each division needs represented,
the
Bucs, Saints, Panthers, Falcons, no one would be in the playoffs from the South for sure, 100%.
And the 47ers might make it. So,
why don't you just take the 4 teams that are ranked the highest at the end of the year and put them in the playoff?
I think it's 12 teams now.
No, that's not something.
So before we leave the East and go South, you can find us on Let's Talk Sports, so let's give them their dues.
The Crüe NFC Roundtable is proud to partner with the Let's Talk Sports Network, available on YouTube, Roku, and Amazon.
Easy, no names.
Do I have to? NFC South.
Oh, you need 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You get 1 for each team. You get an extra minute for you being a Bucs fan. That's
Get
it.
out of here.
That's all you need.
Anyway, Steelers head into Atlanta this week, and they're honestly favored to win. I don't know how that's possible. But yeah, the Steelers are favored to win by a point. Falcons are healthy. They've only got I can't even say his name. Linebacker Arnold Ebekite or whatever it is. He's questionable, and Adaga is questionable as well. The Steelers only have Witherspoon out. J.J. Watt is back. Najee Harris has returned. Good news for T.J. Watt coming back. The Steelers are 1-10 without him. So hopefully that's a step in the right direction, and we see the Steelers take a W over the Falcons. So
is the quarterback in Pittsburgh these days?
Kenny Pickett. Yeah.
But
And then, honestly,
I haven't been paying attention to Pittsburgh because they're one of those insignificant teams that we just simply don't talk about.
what's sad is it's going to be Tomlin's first losing season. That's crazy to think about. I mean, there was talk of them getting rid of Tomlin. Like, the fans are upset because he's had a losing season. I guarantee you, if the Steelers were to let go of Tomlin, there'd be coaches fired in the NFL just to pick that guy up.
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring him back home. Come on back to Tampa.
Well, there was actually a question. So now, would he be a good fit in Dallas, for example? Because I know McCarthy's incredibly popular.
You fire McCarthy to get Tomlin, in my opinion.
I fire McCarthy for anybody.
I fire McCarthy for a bag of chips.
But
Would he be a good fit? I mean, would his offense be a good fit in Dallas, for example?
does it matter? His defense travels. I mean,
Okay, so your defense is similar to the Bears. The Bears have always had traditionally the strong defense and a weaker offense, but now that's kind of sort of. But anyway, I mean, is that really what you want in Dallas, or do you want an offense that can potentially put up points and potentially defense?
But you got to remember when Tomlin had Burris, Big Ben, Antoine Randall, their offense was explosive. They ran the ball more, but they still put up yardage and put up points. It's not that he has a set offensive scheme. So, but anyway.
You guys are killing me, dude. You guys are killing me. You really? We're talking about a black hat coach going to Dallas after all the Jerry Jones shit came out? Really? No, really? That's where we're going to go. I mean, come on. You guys are killing me over here. I'm trying not to bust out laughing. I see it happening, but I mean, all the publicity for that, and then you guys bring it up, and I'm like, oh my God, really? Here we go.
They're not letting go of him anyway, but it would.
No.
I don't see many teams in the NFL that would be like, nah, I'm good. We'll keep who we have.
I don't understand why the fans want him gone. This is what, his 10th season?
Oh,
11 something. I mean, it's got to be longer than that. He's had one losing season. And you're gonna
right.
I was just gonna say. Look, they've only had 3 head coaches in the last 60 years.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
I mean, that shows you not only how good the organization is, just to continually get not only great coaches but great players in the organization, but B, it shows you the loyalty, because sometimes you could be a great coach, but I mean, take Lovie Smith for example in Chicago. He got axed with a 10-6 record. I mean,
no.
And the dude was their winningest coach since Ditka. So, that's the thing. They're not gonna make a change just based upon one losing season. You got to go by the whole body of work.
And it comes. I think it comes down to this too. I know they got a first year. They're using their first year-round quarterback, and I think a lot of the fans are going back to, well, when Ben was a rookie, we did this. Yeah, and you also had a stacked defense. You had a great running game.
They had Willie Parker and
he's even said I barely contributed. I was just there to do exactly what I was told to do, and I try to do my best to do what I do. And
go to bars.
That's not, yeah. And it's a lot different now than it's a lot different than what the situation is now with Tomlin picking the quarterback that he wanted, and they don't have any. they don't have anything really around them too much offensively.
Right.
So
yeah, let's get back to the NFC. The Panthers are on a bye. There's only one other game in the South. And honestly, it's probably the Bucs' most important game of the season, possibly the Saints' most important game of the season. If either team lose, their season's over. Am I wrong? I mean, the Bucs can be without Tristan.
I would say more the Saints than the Bucs, though. If
Really?
I had to put any kind of confidence, the Bucs could lose this game and probably still have a shot.
If the Steelers, I am so sick of hearing, dude. I'm so sick of hearing you have Tom Brady. We've had Tom Brady all year. All year we've had Tom Brady. He can't make the offensive game plan work because there is no fluidity to the offensive game plan in Tampa Bay right now. You're not setting up plays. My daughter sits next to me on the couch and she's like, they're going to run. First down, it's a run. Here comes a screen. Oh, my God, it's a screen. We're going to throw it deep. Oh, it's incomplete. We're going to punt. That's the game plan. That's what they bring out and trot out every week. In Seattle, when you played Seattle, you're running the ball. You're getting 5.5, 6 yards of carry. You consistently keeping the running game involved in the offense. Too early in the games, Byron Leftwich abandons the run, and it's all straight pass. They think the screen pass is an extension of the run, and when you're running the screen pass 7, 8 times a game, guess what? The opposition catches on to a screen pass. It happens. So, yeah, I'm sick of hearing the Tom Brady. We have Tom Brady.
you also have Todd Bowles as a head coach.
Timeout.
Wow.
Timeout.
Shots fired.
Timeout. Now, I hope he was watching. Did you see how easy that was? I went like this, and I said timeout. How do you have the greatest quarterback of all time, who's averaging an interception like every 70-some damn passes? You run a screen, don't call timeout because you say you're afraid to throw an interception and turn the ball over, you're just going to eat the clock. The very next play you throw a pass, a completion. You now have about 15 seconds. You could have called a timeout there. You got 2 sitting in your pocket. Nope, no timeout called. And we run another pass, incomplete, and then the game's over. Going to overtime. How do you play for overtime?
Well, two comments on that. First is, I wish I had the access to that Aaron Rodgers shush thing because that definitely needed around that one. But secondly, whose cat is doing that? Because I keep having the sensation be like, no, Kitty, that's my Popeye. You remember that one? I just take it over here. It's right through my head.
And Andy finally lands the joke.
Always.
Yeah,
way above your pay grade.
But
Okay.
But
then,
yeah, anyway.
then let me throw this back at you, then, Mike. I mean, now we all know, at least it's always been documented that Tom Brady has always had command in the huddle. If he sees something, he checks out of something. Why can't Tom Brady be the guy that goes like this? Why can't Tom Brady change the call at the line? Why can't he do that stuff? Is this
okay? I get it. But you're in your packaging truck, right? And you're delivering packages. And you miss a package, so you take it back to the plant. Does your manager have to go out and deliver it for you? Does someone have to get that done?
No.
If you leave for the day and that package needs to be delivered. Right?
They wouldn't even let you come back to the building until it was delivered.
There you go. So there's a coach or a manager holding you accountable, right? So who would that fall on, him or you?
Probably.
Yeah. But there's no accountability in Tampa. They coddled Tom Brady so much that they can't say anything bad about him anymore. Bruce Arians is gone. Bruce Arians is the only person that would comment about Tom Brady. Gone. Byron Leftwich. Oh, it's this, it's that. We're not effective or we're not playing effectively. It's like, just if it's Brady, say it's Brady. If it's your play call, say it's your play call. Have some accountability. But it's unbelievable how bad it is right now in Tampa. I'm not Mike Stoughton and saying the season's over. I'm not crying that they're not going to win a game. But there's got to be some accountability. And if you have no accountability in the locker room, that falls on your head coach. There's nowhere else you can go. If your coach does not manage the clock well, whose fault is that?
If I was logged in, I would be doing it right now.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I can't even find that button.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Interesting.
the Bucs are going to be without Tristan Wirfs. Both their safeties are doubtful. Their nickelback's doubtful. The Saints are going to be without their safeties, as well as Peyton Turner, their defensive end, and Juan Johnson, their tight end. But the loss of Wirfs is going to be huge in this game. The Saints eat up Donovan Smith, the Bucs' best left tackle, and now you're going to have to play Luka Decky, who played tackle at Central Michigan, going against that Saints defensive front. It doesn't sound like a recipe for success to me. Don't have a good feeling about the game. I'm just going to leave it at that. So
You got a score prediction?
6-3 Saints. Worst Monday night game ever.
actually, that was last year. It was 9-3 Saints or some shit like that. But
Some stuff like that.
I don't know. Not a good feeling. I'm not going to predict the score.
But that Brian does actually bring up a good point. Is okay? So if the Saints actually lose, they're probably going to be done for the year. That's pretty much a given. Now, if the Buccaneers actually end up pulling this out, or even if they lose, that's all fine and dandy because Tom is kind of the poster boy for the league. They're going to give him a couple of calls. They're going to give him a couple of this.
Get out of here. Anyway, we're running out of time, so I guess we'll just skip over the NFC East. A little news there is
The NFC West,
Lions,
you mean?
or NFC West, sorry. The former Lions quarterback, what's his name? It doesn't matter. He's out for the year. They're not going to play him in LA. And the 47ers have a game we're not going to talk about. So, Brian, you got picks for us today?
Yeah.
Seahawks win the division.
All right.
So classy.
Yeah, so classy. We're going to make this quick so we can do our pick six. So, point spread picks. You want to take the Texans plus the 7, the Falcons plus 1, Giants plus 2.5, Chiefs minus 1.5, and you want to do an over-under on the Broncos at Ravens. You want to take the under at 38.5.
Yeah, I could see that definitely with Denver. So, are we ready for pick 6? Should we do the long one or the short one?
Short.
Jerry's not here, so do the long one.
All right. Pick 6. Brian, you're the top dog, aren't you?
I think so.
Well, I'll give you the choice. You want to go first or last?
I'll go last. I think we should make Jerry first since we forgot about him,
All right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally got glossed over.
Yeah.
So, Jerry's got the Vikings, the Browns, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the 47ers. And then I'm next, right? So I've got Minnesota over the Jets, Philly over Tennessee. I got Baltimore over Denver, 47ers over the Phins, Cowboys over Colts, and Joe Cool taking it to Patrick Mahomes, get Cincy over KC.
Wow. Okay, I'll go. So you got the Bears over the old cheeseheads. You got the Eagles, Vikings. I can't remember my handwriting, so I don't remember who I put down there. But then we also have the Cowboys and Dolphins. Oh, it looks like the
Giants.
Giants.
You have Eagles, Vikings, Bears, Cowboys, Giants, Phins.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess
Scott.
I guess I gotta go. I had to get my picks in. I'm gonna start waiting for Brian to get his done. Yeah, now you found it. Now you found it. Good one.
It's weird. It's weird
Yeah,
how
I know.
that just popped up.
So I'm taking the Ravens, the 47ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and then
That's your notes say shit ass Cowboys.
yeah, they do. I didn't know if I should say that. Then
Probably not.
you know, like always this year, I'm taking the Vikings for my buddy, and then the last game I took, I'm taking the Chargers because I want to get another Christian mad at me. So
Right on.
I think that's a good idea.
That's great. All right.
I was having a hard time with that pick, and I was like, "Hey, I can get something. Here we go."
All right. Well, here we go. I'm going Ravens. I'm going the Browns. I'm going the Seagulls. I'm going the Cowgirls, the 47ers, and it's going to happen. The Jets, Jets.
Wow. That's funny. All right. So we're gonna have a show Tuesday to recap the Bears Pack rivalry. You don't know. All right.
Sure.
Well, you can catch the Odd Couple on the Crüe channel as well as the Crüe YouTube channel, which is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. Andy and Brian do a little hate week, I guess, every week. So you sure to tune in with them. It's usually later in the evening. Anyway, I don't know where that's coming from, but all right, we're leaving.
We're gonna leave on that, huh?
Did I